Hello, hello, and welcome to the GFW Radio podcast. This is the podcast for November 13th, 2006, not 7, 2006, and hope you like our new intro.
I thought you were going to rhyme with that one.
Oh, should I have rhymed along with that?
Yeah.
I'm too white.
Or you could have just been like, GFW podcast, keep our names out your mouth, son.
All right, next time I'll try to do some kind of rap over it. The kind of rap a 45-year-old Jewish guy should be doing. Yeah. Hi, we're here, and we're podcasting. That whole intro threw me off there. We're so much more soulful now that we're Microsoft branded.
For the podcast, the 1113 podcast.
Yo. And I'm here with the whole gang of the GFW editorial staff, which includes the following.
Ryan Scott. Hi-ho, this is Darren.
Sean Elliott.
Sean Malloy.
Okay, and Darren as Kermit the Frog.
I'll be talking like that through the whole episode.
Yeah. Well, so here we are. We just gorged on Chinese food on this rainy day in San Francisco, and so we're going to have to see how that affects the conversation today.
Tsingtao all the way.
I know that one issue we're having as we sit here ready to talk to y'all is that, let's be honest here, most of us all weekend, we can say it doesn't have to be a dirty little secret. We played a lot of console games.
We did.
It's true. Here, the GFW staff. I don't know what that says. Other than there's a whole bunch of great console games out right now. Not that there aren't good PC games too, but yeah, it's kind of the console's moment at the moment.
Yeah, everyone's going ape shit over the Wii and PS3 launch, and that's
two pieces of hardware are coming out this week.
Right.
And in our land, they've already come out. And then Gears of War.
Gears of War
360
is
the
flavor
big
of the
one.
month. Flavor of the moment.
Flavor of the moment, yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, I just got a copy today, so I haven't played yet, but it's been really frustrating to go up on Xbox Live and see all my friends playing Gears of War.
And
I'm playing frickin' Luminous.
Luminous till 2 in the morning.
And Doom. I'm playing Doom. Like 12-year-old PC game on my Xbox.
I was thinking of giving you like a message on that, just giving you crap. Like
Doom's actually kind of fun after all this time, but you know,
it's Doom.
It's a little dated at this point. But maybe
it's actually a good time. It's actually good that you're playing that now. I think right before you go into Gears of War.
Yeah.
Because one of my sort of pet notions is that Gears of War, in a way, is kind of like a second coming of Doom, and also it's going to sound weird, but Mortal Kombat. You're going to have to think about it, or we can just go into now playing right now. But when you get into multiplayer, basically, well, at the time, both of those games I just mentioned were presented very well. I mean, the graphics were nice on both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but so much of the game is about just the raw factor of like, whoa, I just blew that dude's head off, or like that guy just got sawed in half, or there's just guts everywhere. And you'll see that when you're playing online with people, especially if you get into a game with people you don't know, little younger set, you know, like the Rolling Hard crowd and the G Thugs. But every time they get killed.
Are you finding little kids playing this game?
No, I mean like, 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds and stuff. But it's like, damn, dog, I ripped you, son. I messed you up. I'm like, but it's like, seriously, every time.
And that's why I only play with friends.
Every time they get a kill, or it's like you kill them 6 games in a row, and then the next they get you, and it's like, bitch. Like they get that in real quick before the next round starts, you know? So, but I think what I'm getting at is like when you see that kind of reaction, or it's just like just yelling, and I mean, I imagine it's like the Uptown Comedy Club. Kids are doing cartwheels when they get like a chainsaw kill, you know, and they're just screaming and going off. But I think that in the same way, when Doom came out, it was like that, just that raw, like this is like taboo stuff, or this is just like completely.
So it's pretty violent, huh?
It's extraordinarily violent. I mean, I'm trying to imagine now if what my parents would have done if they saw me playing that sort of game when I was still living in their house.
So I got to play this after my wife goes.
Oh no,
to sleep.
it totally. Like
otherwise
when you chainsaw anyone or anything, it cuts away to a third person kind of view for a second, like even further.
It's always just like
a skewed angle, like one that you're not seeing when you're playing,
right?
And then like it gets a close up, and then just blood splatters all over the screen. It's like
awesome.
The blood spray is on the screen. I mean, there's always been jibs in games, but the jibs are even more lifelike. So that like if someone gets bisected, it's basically like you got an
100% more jibby
cross section.
Bullet point on the box.
So you've got anatomical cross section. You've got it's not like skull fragments come out, and you can clearly see what everything is. And it's the way it's presented. It's not only hear the chainsaw ripping, but you hear the guy just screaming and crying. And
Damn.
But you can't. Can you identify the guy's Isle of Langerhorn?
No.
Well, how does that seriously? How does that make you feel when you're playing it?
I don't know. This, like
Does
I
it
said,
bug
the
you?
way it did when I was in the arcade and some kid would bust out a new fatality in Mortal Kombat. Back before Mortal Kombat was a joke,
Right.
And you'd be like, "Whoa, how'd you do that?"
That was
Some
a
kid,
long time ago.
check this out, and then he like turns into a polar bear and eats the guy's head, and you're like, "Animality!" Like, that's like
Babality,
insane.
man.
But those kids, a new generation of us, of like me in
Yeah.
that stage, is like
Yeah.
coming into into their own with
But does
this
it
game.
does it bother you at all, or is it? I mean,
It does when I hear it. Doesn't when I play because I'm like,
Yeah.
that's cool. But when I hear that, eventually, I just find that's why actually now I just play with people that are already on my friends list from our forums or from like our floor, the game group.
Personally, like, I didn't even really notice how gory it was. Like, I think I'm just super desensitized,
well,
Just
you
like, oh,
see
okay.
like every horror movie and all that.
Right. I'm a
crap,
big
right?
horror buff, so like,
Have you played multiplayer much?
no, I haven't.
It's a lot more obvious in that context because it's happening to you.
right.
It's when you get the close up view of it, like with you
Of what, you being chainsawed in
or
half?
blown up. Yeah,
right.
you,
When
like
it's
a
one of these
shotgun
grubs
will
or
just
whatever, then who
completely like
cares?
disintegrate you, and like a headshot is like, I mean, when you hear horror stories of real war, like this and that, it's pretty much like along those lines.
And
It's
that was a
more
little bit what they
upfront.
were trying to do, right? That's what I remember reading, that Cliffy B was... I
It's-
mean, that was a little of the point of the game. Was
I'd
to,
say it's pretty sensationalized though, because they're
Yeah.
feeding on that like suck it down history of that type of a game,
Yeah.
competitive game.
Like, yeah, if you play the single player one, it's really obvious they're going way over the top. It's
Yeah.
not like trying to be a realistic war message.
This isn't
I mean,
Saving
maybe
Private Ryan
maybe
here.
in combat, like 1 in every like 10 kills is that nasty. But I mean, in here, every single
Every kill's about as nasty as you
every
want
death, every face of death is more gruesome than the last.
Well,
Okay,
it's
so to bring it into PC gaming related
crazy
stuff.
talk.
Well, just that this is Epic Games' first console specific game. So now that you've played it,
No, it's not really, because
What?
they had Unreal Championship.
Yeah,
oh,
Unreal
I
Championship.
forgot
Yeah,
about that.
And it's
Okay.
It's kind of similar to that. I mean,
You're-
I could see
okay.
like ways in which they learned certain things with Unreal Championship 2. That
Well-
was the one where they brought in all the melee fighting.
Yeah, I think part of that though is like a lot of all their games prior to this haven't really been about, like, with the exception of Unreal 1. It wasn't really about story. It was more
Right.
just about like set up a tournament kind of
Right.
competition sort
right?
of thing.
So now that it's out, do you feel like this could have been on the PC?
Oh, it
longer?
totally could have been.
Totally.
And you know
Yeah.
what? I'm here's hoping it still will be in some way. I mean, I think there's there's a good chance that theoretically it would be nice if they could do it.
If it was on the PC, I know that One Up gave it a 10. We're not going to talk about review scores here now, but let's say it came out on the PC. Do you think it would have gotten the kind of reviews it's getting now?
It would have reviewed very well. I think probably.
A lot of
I
people.
mean,
are just,
in the same way that it did on console. But I mean, I have issues with like the 10s and stuff that I see for the game. I've only played half.
But
of
we
the
would have been
campaign,
comparing it
but-
to what? To Fear, Battlefield.
well, I think a lot
Right.
of people are getting hypnotized by the awesome graphics. I mean, this is the first game really showing off what the Unreal 3 engine can do. And,
Yeah.
and like anybody who looks at it, even for a second, they're just like, "Wow, that looks pretty damn sweet."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this is actually the first game for like the 360 that I've gotten that has made me go, "Whoa, that
Really?
looks nice."
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally.
You really get a sense for that glow factor too, which is just being that the graphics are sort of like creating an impression that overall is more favorable than maybe the game itself.
that's what I'm talking
Because
about.
a few examples I had from the campaign. I'll give you some spoilers out here, but they're not really spoilers because it's the most basic rudimentary stuff. But it's like turret use. I mean, and that's been around forever
Yeah.
in these types of shooters, but it's gotten to the point where everyone, critics at least, like just really rip on a game where they position a turret so that when you as soon as you grab it, you activate an onrush of a bunch of enemies that blindly run right into it. So it's got that.
Well,
it's got
actually,
parts where like
I think I know the part you're talking about. It isn't so much triggered by you touching it. It's like a time trigger.
right,
So it
but
says
it's still
guys are
set up.
coming
So
in.
No, there's a
right
couple
when
parts-
when you're at the turret. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to come
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah, that happens repeatedly
and,
too.
and
It's
that
not
happens
just once.
repeatedly. And then there's the one overlooking the balcony, and then there's two of them down there, and you shoot, and you're supposed to clear the way for a landing zone, right? You're supposed to clear the street so that your dropships can land. But what happens is you just sit on the turrets and shoot everyone. But what happens is, like when I played, we got to a point where there's one guy left, and I knew this because I'm a gamer, because I'm such a hardcore gamer. But like, I was like, nothing's happening. I was like telling my person I was playing with, we're not waiting for a cutscene. It's like there's probably one of
probably a
them
guy
still
left.
hidden
Yeah.
somewhere, and it's not going to load the cutscene until we
Yeah.
find him. So which was the case, and we found him and got him. And so those are examples of just really, unremarkable design choices. Another quick example would be that there's a section where, if you go into the darkness, these locust type things fly around and strip the skin off your bones. So you need to stay in light.
It's like pitch black.
And the device that they have to keep you in the light is that they place these propane canisters along a path. But what happens is, for one, at face, it gets ridiculous that there just so happens to be a Pac-Man trail of propane tanks through the streets. And it's not explained by the story. It's like supposedly your guy has an aha moment and says, hey. So what happens in game terms, you become so used to it after shooting the first one that it becomes merely a button by another name. And you're like basically it's a light switch in the form of a propane tank.
Right.
You just gotta find it.
It would have been cooler if you could you could find like oil drums or gas canisters or anything you could like manipulate the environment a little.
Kind of
throw
like,
a Molotov cocktail or something.
Naturally flammable rubbish in the street that's positioned in different ways. So you had choices like this. If you want to create a bonfire, light the whole works.
Right.
Or the Doom 3 co-op on Xbox had the flashlight system, and even that I think was a more organic and sensible thing. Or flares or anything. As long as the point being is that those are all good solutions, but I think they're even stronger when they're mixed together.
Yeah.
Than as opposed to just this one. Like it's like here's a gameplay element we came up with, and we're gonna just use this for half an hour, and then there's another one. So there's a lot of stuff like that about the game, in addition to just the retarded dialogue and everything that. It's like, how many times have you played a game that's basically Predator, where you're like, someone just watched Predator? Yeah. And so every guy has like arms that are like 60 inches in circumference, and his legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah.
And let's go get us something to kill. It's like
The problem is, what else do the body Ventura in every freaking game?
Right. I don't know how many variations can you do on the.
Right. But it just is laughable. It's like you could see when they're trying to, like, all of a sudden you're walking, that part when out of the blue your guy's like, I've got a 2-year-old kid. And you just like laugh. You're like, dude, someone in there was like, we need to try to develop these characters. So someone's like, give him a kid. And he just like randomly says it when you're blowing up some dude. It's like,
this reminds me of my kid. I have to get him a birthday present.
To bring it full circle, the point I guess I'm making, and Darren is like agreeing with me, is just that the graphics are so impressive that it's easy to overlook that and come away with like that rah that I was an awesome experience. But I totally stand by the multiplayer. I think it's fantastic, and I've been just fiending on that.
And
well, that'll be great news to all the 360 listeners.
I actually
we're sorry we're going to do this. I'm going to have to keep apologizing this podcast. We will get to the PC stuff.
And actually, I could bring it full circle right now.
Yes, sir.
Please. So if you want to get a small taste of the Unreal 3 engine right now, you can play it on RoboBlitz on the PC. It's available on Steam for $15. I just finished reviewing it. I thought it was actually a fun little game.
So the 360 owners get Gears of War, and we
get RoboBlitz.
RoboBlitz.
Yes. Hang in there, kids. Johnny 5 is alive.
RoboBlitz.
How did the graphics compare to Gears of War?
Yeah, not quite.
Well, it's a platformer, right?
Exactly. It's a simple little platformer game. It's nothing like it's over. It's like over and done within an afternoon. You won't even like. It's a really quick game.
I thought
Gears of War was 2 afternoons for me.
See, there you go. No, but there's also a level editor too, so you can actually like mess around with the engine if you really want to get into it. It's kind of cool in that respect. And I guess all we got to do now is just wait until sometime in Q1 for next year, so we can see Unreal Tournament 2007.
Right. Looking forward to that.
I really am.
Been a while since there's been an Unreal Tournament.
Since 2004.
It's almost sad now that we've got, because there's only one first experience with the new engine, and it's doing what it does best. And it's like by the time that Unreal 2007 comes out, it's not going to be. Well, it'll be visually remarkable, but nowhere near it won't create the impression that Gears of War is
well, that's the thing is it won't get the pass that Gears of War I feel is getting.
Right.
I mean, it's like Gears of War is still a good game, but I don't think it would be getting solid 10s.
Well, listen, the Gears of War hype machine has been going for like over a year now. I mean, there isn't even that kind of hype for Unreal Tournament at all.
It's been really like.
I mean, it's another year in a franchise now for that, whereas Gears of War was.
Yeah, that's almost the problem. I almost wonder, like, should they have kept with like the numbering system for that? Should they just change the name to like Unreal Warfare or something like that?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I don't know. They could have come up with
lots
some
of meetings about that.
I'm sure they did. Yep.
But it still looked awesome when I saw it. When did I see it last? E3? No,
last time I saw it was E3.
I guess E3, but it looks
great.
Me
too. Ryan, have you been playing any PC games, or have you also been consoling out this weekend?
I ain't playing no damn consoles.
There you go. That's
all right.
Boy.
That's our boy.
Woo! Ding 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 ding. Good answer.
Promotion for Ryan.
Awesome. I've actually been playing Jaws Unleashed on the PC.
Oh, see, now you got to mention a good one.
You know, defending our
Oh,
cause
thank
here.
God.
Gears
It's
of
like
War? Or
Jaws
Jaws?
Unleashed.
Jaws Unleashed is about as far from good as you can get.
Yeah, well, you gave it a 1, I believe.
I did give it a 1.
So that's about pretty much as far from good as you can get. You're right.
Did
Right,
you get the pass key?
Did you get the pass key
key
for the shark?
Yeah, yeah, I did actually.
That's the deal, right? The shark goes looking for key cards.
Well, it's basically it's like
You must
this.
have the red key.
It sort of is like this wannabe Grand Theft Auto sort of open environment sort of thing, except you're a shark. You're a shark,
Right.
and like
shack.
straight out of the tutorial, you're in like this holding like this lab, like this aquarium thing, and it's all like find a key card to open the door.
The shark?
Yeah.
The shark has to find the key.
And
card.
so
That's awesome.
you're like swimming around and like jumping up and eating these like doctor dudes.
Don't do
and
So it's like Echo the Shark.
and they're running. It's funny because like they're running around and they're all like, "Is he dead? Is he dead? I don't want to die. Where is he? I don't want to die." Like the same 3 voice clips over and over and over. It's like one of those games,
And there's the same 3 character models over and over.
right? And their mouths don't move during the cutscenes.
You know, isn't this a
That's always
port,
plus.
too, by the way?
It
Yeah.
is.
And
It is.
wasn't it like they came up with a license at the last second?
Right. The license got
Well, it was going
glommed
to be
onto.
something else.
It got glommed onto this other game.
It was going to be called
starring a shark.
What was it?
Soul Predator.
Soul Predator.
SOLE.
Was it
so
SOLE
It
or
was an
SOLE?
existing shark game in which the shark is looking for key cards.
Right.
That they
Well,
then
there's like
got
this
the
whole
Jaws license
there's
for.
this whole like environmental agenda where you have to stop these like driller
Yeah.
guys from.
It was made by
Uh,
Appaloosa, who did Echo the
Echo
Dolphin.
games.
So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
it's,
Echo the Dolphin was a good game.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, how sad.
and therein lies the rub.
And
Yeah.
But
this
an
game,
environmental message there is lost.
this thing's been in development since 2003,
And it looks it.
and they decided, I guess at the last minute, hey, Jaws 30th anniversary's coming up. Let's just make this a Jaws license. That'll be
Oops.
cool. And they completely missed.
Yeah, they missed the 30th
Right.
anniversary.
Do they got the music? As long as they have the music.
They do have the music.
You know,
that's
I-
2 at least.
I
then.
do remember like seeing the game at E3 one year, and like the big high point, like they were like the PR people were showing me was, look, you can swim by the beach and pluck people off the beach. Like
Okay,
it was like
even
it
that.
was like a cartoon character, like
you
reaching
jump
like
up
yeah, go
and
on.
you start mauling people on the beach, and you'll hit the beach. You'll just like run aground. You'll have to like flop back into the water.
But that makes sense.
But it's like, that happens.
that's
That happens
realism.
a lot.
Yeah.
No, but
Makes you real feel
at least
badass
it
as a
makes
shark,
sense. I mean, well, killer whales do it. Sharks don't,
Yeah.
but actually, killer whales do beach like that.
I suddenly reminded myself of the exploding whale video on the internet after seeing that.
It's just like the whole thing. You've got all these like objectives and stuff. Like, how is my only objective not like kill as many people as possible?
Well, right.
That's you're a shark.
Right.
And so technically, this didn't come out on console, right? Although, I mean, it was reviewed.
No, it
but
did.
No, it
never
did.
It
released.
did.
Oh,
It
is that
did
right?
come out on
Oh, it was
Xbox
I thought it
actually
came out on
Okay.
PS2.
and
no?
PS2.
I was.
So I
heard
say
at some
you're
point
a
it was not
hyper
released.
intelligent shark with an environmentally conscious super intelligence. Shark.
Right.
It was like,
It's
what's
kind
that
of
one?
like Deep Blue Sea, that horrible movie with Samuel L. Jackson.
Where
and LL
the
Cool
shark
J.
turns on the oven to cook the guy. That was awesome.
Okay, so the only PC game we've talked about now is Jaws Unleashed,
And
which
RoboBlitz.
itself is a port.
and RoboBlitz.
Oh, and RoboBlitz.
So,
Give 'em props.
any reasons to get a PC to play games this week?
Windows Vista.
Sean Malloy, you've been playing more of the Burning Crusade beta.
I
Right?
have.
Please say
Still
something
good.
good about that.
You still have the Quest Giver cap, so you must be liking it.
Yeah. It's still good. It's
Still good.
Yeah, I'm discovering a lot of new stuff in the beta. I'm kind of making a mental list for like what to do in the actual game.
Do you
I
actually
think they
have-
announced
you have
the
your-
date, didn't they? The real date.
It's January 16th, I think.
Are people
Don't-
going on like 40-man raids yet in the
No,
beta?
none of that's open yet.
Oh.
Just a couple of the 5-man instances.
So are you gonna have like a total like route, a hot route for when as soon as the game goes live?
Yeah, well, there's like in one town, there's like these 2 factions. You can pick which one to side with, and if you side with one, everything you do for them like puts you way in the red with the other one. So I want to like figure out which one's the better one for me.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of
that's
crap.
cool.
Are
You
you
should do
gonna-
that and then post a little,
A super guide or something.
there you go.
I
Are you
think
going
I
to start
might.
a new character, or are you going to keep playing
I'm
your
gonna
old
keep
one?
playing it. I don't want to grind again.
Okay.
What I've played of the new races is pretty much they look better and they're cool, but like it's pretty much the same grind as before.
Yeah, it's
so.
kind of the same grind.
So I was playing my night elf, my blood elf rogue, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this again.
I mean, if you were a new player to WoW, it would probably they would be as viable an option as the other races.
Right. More so. I think the racial talents like make
Oh,
them
so the racial talents are kind of
significantly
cool.
more interesting in a gameplay way too.
Racial talents. Non-gamers listening to this are like,
Oh,
what
Racial
adult?
talents.
Well, you can imagine all the stereotypes.
Uh-huh.
He must be talking about this and this and this.
Well, that's
it's
kind
all
of sad. And you know what I played this weekend that was not on consoles was EverQuest 1.
Yeah, that's a weekend well spent.
Wow.
Because the hey, come on now,
It's
little
polygonal
love
glory.
for EverQuest. In the old days, EverQuest used to get the respect.
It used
EverQuest
The
was
key word
the
is
game.
used to.
Yeah,
I used to be way
Back
into
in a time of mages and wizards.
yeah. No, I booted it up because there's another new expansion for that game. It's the
Damn it.
12th expansion. They're still coming out.
How many people are still playing the EQ1?
I don't know. I tried to get
There's a
those
lot
numbers
of
out
bored
of Sony.
housewives out there.
Yeah.
You
It's,
talking to me? Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean,
Jeff's going
I
for
got on there, and there's people running around in this world in EverQuest
But it's
1.
not like tumbleweeds. It's actually a lot
It's
of
like,
people.
No, there
man
were
at a
people in
time.
there.
I mean, did you ask any of them if they're aware that like there are other MMOs that have come?
Hello, it's 2006.
Or even if there's an EverQuest 2?
Yeah, it's really bizarre because the graphics look terrible. I mean, this is,
Well, what do you expect?
an
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
game.
I think
Actually,
after a certain point, like maybe, even 2 months, like you stop even noticing that kind of thing in that kind of game.
Well, I have to admit, I mean, I did play it for many, many hours. And after a while, I kind of, those like neurons started firing again.
Mhm.
The old EverQuest stuff started coming back, and I started getting into it a bit. And I did stop thinking about the way it looked. I did.
Cool.
Right. Well, when you're playing a game like that, and you play it for, however many years EverQuest came out before or something else, even viable came around the corner, that's a ton of investment of your life for some of these people that's just impossible to break away from, I think.
Yeah.
It would have been cooler if they were fine. But it would have been cooler if they would have been able to take your EQ1 characters and port them into the other games. That probably would have made a lot of lives easier for transitions.
Yeah. I
I wouldn't
actually
be
think
surprised
that,
to see something like that happen in like a future kind of game.
yeah. I know that's, that's like the dilemma both Origin and EA faced with Ultima
Mm-hmm.
Online, and I'm sure the EverQuest guys had to ponder that a lot too, right?
Mhm.
Would one game turn into the other? But now I think EverQuest 1 still has more subscribers than EverQuest 2. So I don't know what
Yeah.
that says. Doesn't say anything good, though. But the thing is, when I was playing EverQuest this weekend, I was thinking, well, maybe the low system requirements, because this is such an old game, keep some people around. But WoW has low system requirements.
Right.
So what's the incentive to play EverQuest 1? Actually, if anybody is listening that is an EverQuest 1 player, and if you work for Sony and are listening, you don't count. If you're a reader and you're listening and you play EverQuest 1, you should post on the boards because we would like to know why you are still playing this game.
In a non-jerky way. We are not.
No, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I really want to know. I mean, it was interesting to me that there were so many people playing. I was like, wow, this is like the city that time forgot. There's all these people running around here.
So I said you need to slap him upside the head and ask him if
It's like Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. Yeah.
It's like Chaka around the corner.
Or what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh, The Village?
Yeah, you were in The Village.
the village. I'm in the village.
What else do we have to
weird.
talk about?
We got more console stuff.
We got more console
We were
stuff?
playing the Wii.
Oh yeah, Sean, you were playing the Wii, weren't you?
Darren was too.
Yeah.
We can argue
Yeah.
about that.
What do you guys think?
It's fun. I mean, you know what? The barometer for any fun system, whatever the case, is if my fiance will play it. If she likes it.
Yeah, but is she a gamer?
No, she's not.
Okay,
That's what I mean. Like, if you're looking at something to break into the mainstream market,
right.
Well, how will we like
But
it
that's
as
what.
gamers?
Yeah,
You think
that's
she liked
the
it
fact
enough
that
to
she
buy
likes
it
it
on
makes
her
me. No offense to your fiance, but that makes me wonder. Oh, so maybe it's more for her type rather than. Oh, dude.
come on!
That's some kind of new low. Did that get picked up on the mic?
I heard it.
Okay, I never want to use those headphones again.
I'm gonna make sure to
John Elliott just farted on the podcast.
We're gonna
and he put the headphones
actually moved
up
the headset.
to his ass.
I can't wait for the retronauts to grab onto that.
So good for you,
Yeah, we got to watch to see who puts that headset on.
So the whole time I was trying to time it for when Ryan was talking about Jaws, so I was like, let me give it a no-word review. I was
Wow.
going to drop a deuce on
We've
it.
hit some kind of new low.
Wow, it's like Chinese food on that.
Yeah, they
thing.
wouldn't have done that in Johnny Wilson's day.
It's like a sweet and sour headset now.
Now you're just wallowing in it.
Johnny Wilson wouldn't have farted on the podcast.
Wow.
Hey, we had class back
We
then.
are a class act right now. I tell you.
Next level.
Wow. Okay.
What was I saying?
Wow, suddenly it's like
that was
the
a
man
radio
show
moment.
here.
That was like you've got like whatever, like the nipple gate, and then now you've got this.
I saw the expression on your face before I saw what you were doing. It's like something's wrong with Sean over there.
You guys are often like like Ryan is just like
He's in shock right now. It's like you just watched the Borat movie again.
All right, let's try to move on beyond that horrible
Does
moment.
anyone remember what we were talking about?
carry on.
Carry on.
Move along.
Hey, that sounded like the Project Runway guy.
Okay,
that your goal you were doing?
designers.
You watch it too. I never would have taken Sean Elliott for a Project Runway guy.
That's my
Okay,
dirty
we've just
secret.
outed Sean. Okay.
I think anyone who basically has a significant other, you're pretty much just
Carry
taking
on.
to watching that.
Okay,
I know. I
Okay,
haven't.
it's make it work time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We all watch it.
Yeah,
Great show.
pretty much.
All right, what were we talking about?
Should we go into
talking
news,
about the
or-
Project
oh,
Runway
wait.
game.
You see what the
No
Chinese food did to
idea.
us on this podcast?
Yeah. Okay, we're talking
You were-
about we're
the
talking
Wii.
about the Wii.
You're talking about the Wii.
Confucius
My
say,
question
talk
was,
about Wii.
do you think that Amy likes it enough so that she would buy it on her own?
No, she would definitely play though. I think that's the thing. Like it's a fun system.
Okay, but what about gamers who you've been working all day, you've messed around with your significant other, they've gone to bed. Now you've got a couple hours of game time in. Are you going to want to play the Wii?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
You know what?
Seriously?
Yeah, huh?
I'm not being skeptical. I want to know.
There's a Zelda game on the Wii.
Yeah, but you know,
I
you're-
understand,
you're,
but-
you're coming from the fanboy
Oh,
perspective.
you're a closet
though.
retronaut, though, dude. You're actually one of the
He's not even
retronauts.
closet. He's actually
Yeah, he's
he is
one of the
a retronauts.
retronauts.
He's like
yeah.
Lord of the
Freak.
retronauts. He's like Captain.
Lord of the retronauts. That's when it's time to kill yourself. Oh, look, he's not even smiling. He's got his feelings.
Come on,
The
Ryan.
thing about Nintendo, I mean, everybody's always, like they have a new system coming out, and everybody's like, "Oh, this looks really stupid." Like people did that with the DS.
No, I know. Listen. I'm probably going to have one, but I'm seriously worried. Seriously, because, I mean, I'm a Nintendo. I have every Nintendo system going back to the SNES.
Do you have the Virtual Boy?
No, but the thing that makes me worry is when I'm playing after like an hour or two, or the first couple days of having the Wii, where I'm like going, "Look at this, honey! Look, I'm swinging a sword."
Right.
That like when it's like 1 a.m. and I just want to play some games, I'm going to feel like a frickin' moron. For one, doing it, and two, I'm going to be sort of resentful that I'm having to do all this like physical
one
motion
thing
when I just
help
want to
you is
sit there.
You don't need. I mean, this will
He's
launch
the
into
like
my screen. is
Sean's
that
the game breaker right here.
You don't need any significant range of movement when you're playing. You could
Okay.
sit there with it in your lap, and it would look like this.
Okay, that looks a little odd.
It
what
looks
you're doing
odd.
right now.
It more looks like pantomiming, like the controls. It looks like this.
Yeah. Okay.
But so you don't need to play it that way, and it's not that physically exhausting.
Okay.
But here's part of the problem I ran into. I played it in the context of a party, got together, and it was like guys and their girlfriends, and the majority of people there were either described casual gamers or non-gamers. So it was an interesting sort of focus group to see how people reacted. And I think at first, everyone was really digging the idea, and everyone's getting up and playing Wii Sports, and they're
Yeah.
bowling, they're taking 3 steps. I mean, they're
Right.
basically on a virtual lane that they
Okay.
they aren't aware of. I mean,
That's cool. That's,
yeah, that
in
was
theory,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
they're swinging golf and stuff and everything.
Right.
But then when I played, and this is just maybe the way I look at games, I was just skeptical. I was like, there's no way that this processor can compute the incredible degree of subtlety in a golf swing or something, for example. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that a programmer can spend his whole career on. And so I started messing with it, and sure enough, I was able to minimize it by continuing to reduce the number of steps and the range of motion, and see how I could still get the exact same response, and see that while they were up there doing full golf swings,
Right.
I could just go like this and wag my wrist, and it was actually truer. I would
I
avoid
see.
the slice, because it's basically just there's a power meter, a swing meter, in the same way that you'd have in any other game if you're using
Sure.
an analog stick or if you're
Or
using
even a
button.
mouse.
And you're
Yeah.
basically filling the bar with the quick
Yeah.
registered
I
movement.
see.
And at which point it hits the ball. But so for me, it's still
Yeah, but you were branded
that
as a
said,
tool at the
it's
party
still
for-
fun. That doesn't mean that it's bad or anything.
Right,
by
right,
any
right.
means. But
Because
the thing
in Zelda, you'll have to swing a sword, but even if you're doing it in a smaller range, that might
Right.
still be fun, right? Maybe?
Yeah, and you're not, and the thing in Zelda, it's not trying to replicate it in a 1-to-1 way, in the way that people are assuming when you grab it and you're like, okay, you're playing tennis. So that's an activity that they're familiar with, right? Much more
Okay.
than most people swing swords.
Right.
But so basically, you're jerking your hand around, just
Yeah.
jerking it. And anyway, so he does
All
something on the
class, eh?
screen, and I mean, and that's fine. But I'm thinking that for games, when it does sort of either just by default, it encourages you to believe that there is a 1-to-1, like an exact translation of your physical actions into virtual movement in the game.
I think
People
Red
will come
Steel's
away
trying to do that.
kind of bummed out by it.
Right.
And that's a game I heard Red Steel is just like a total like wash, especially the sword fighting stuff. From the same guy who, I'm not going to name names, but who had the Wii I was playing. But anyway, so what I'm getting at here is that for me, I was just kind of bummed because I was buying into all the ads you see in the promo movies where you see the people doing backflips on their couches and stuff, and you're like, okay, well, when I do want to get spastic, this is the perfect thing to do it. But it's like now that I know that all that's like spasticity is like largely extraneous, that it's not really being read by the game.
That's really interesting.
I feel stupid doing it. So maybe it's just me, and I'm prone to look
No, that's
behind the
interesting. I
curtain,
mean, it's sort of like they're maybe counting on us all sort of bringing our real life
assumptions
energy into it.
World. Yeah.
Intuitive, physical,
Sounds like you get into it what you want.
Right, because like I watched the EGM guys all playing that bowling game on Friday.
Yeah, they're all just
and they all
bowling.
look like they were on like a virtual
but
bowling
no
alley,
joke,
and it looked fun.
You could sit here, and if you wanted like this,
you could just
I
go
could.
like-
I mean,
like
this
that.
just to be a
flip it.
facetious ass. I mean, I could be like,
Just and
Right.
and
Well, that
bowl,
actually sounds
both
like
same
kinda-
exact thing.
Best of both worlds in a way, because like if you got 4 people together, you can all kind of just do that and have fun, even though
Right.
intellectually that there's
Right.
Right, don't
what
you
you're
think
doing
the odds
is not
would be,
helping the
right,
game
if
at
you
all. It's just
invited
something-
right, if you invited a few of your friends over and you put that game in, don't you think even if all 4 of you knew, you would just sort of do that anyway?
Right. I
Right.
mean,
You would
that's-
start
that's
doing
part
the
of the-
virtual
Well, that's what
bowling
it's
alley
relying
thing.
on. In the
Well,
same
that-
way that,
exactly.
like, with
That's the
with
whole-
the regular controller, you see like people like trying to like in
Yeah,
Splinter
that's
Cell,
right.
looking around the TV.
I totally
or
do that.
a racing game or
Yeah,
a flight
I
game.
do it in racing games, even in shooters. I'll lean in my chair or lean back.
Like, especially like in Battlefield when people are flying the helicopters. I imagine just like you're all like, you're trying to do a steep turn or something, jerking and banking.
Yeah, I played a lot of Test Drive Unlimited on my 360 this weekend because
And
I
you're
didn't have
doing
Gears
that.
of War, and I was doing a lot of turning my head with the steering
You're
wheel.
that kid. We'd invite that kid over to play games, so we'd all just watch him. We'd all just like, hey, go ahead and play this. Like on the Sega Genesis, and we'd all go sit on the couch and just stare and like,
What the hell's he doing? Or like when he has the gamepad, he like moves the gamepad like he's
Yeah, that's
steering the
it,
wheel
yeah.
or whatever.
he basically was before his time. The Wii,
Dude,
Wii's got him covered.
He's a retronaut
Yeah.
of the highest order.
So, are we all gonna get a Wii?
I'm
or
getting
not?
a Wii.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, after having played it, I was kind of at first I was bumming that I didn't have it pre-ordered. Now I'm like, oh, when it's convenient,
I might be a little bit.
If it's
wait and
months
see.
from now, if it's 3 or 4 months from now, I'll be fine. No,
I think
I've
I'm
got it.
kinda-
I might
I-
feel the same way.
I'd say like let the hysteria die down. People are gonna go ape shit trying to get a hold of it for the holidays, but it's
But you're gonna camp out, aren't you, Sean?
We'll see. We're planning on it.
Yeah,
Ryan is.
You camping out, Ryan?
I think actually we're going to visit my parents this weekend. And they
You
live
already
in a, they live
camped
in
out,
a
though, didn't you?
they live in a very small town, so
Aha.
I'm hoping I can get it.
Oh, so is it
Without-
being released on a weekend?
It's Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
like Sunday morning, basically.
Okay. Oh, good.
Which is actually pretty perfect for camping out.
Yeah, because I wouldn't give you guys time off to get a frickin' Nintendo machine. This is Games for Windows magazine,
bitches.
bitches.
We'll be covered again. What do we got coming out in the weeks ahead?
Wow.
That was a
Holy mackerel.
Well, we have-
we needed one of your farts there, Sean.
I got the other
That
one if you
moment.
want.
No, I don't want
well,
another
well,
one.
Don't we have? Hey Ryan,
Save
don't we
that
have
for outside.
the longest named expansion ever? Lord of
Oh,
the
the
Oh
Lord of
Rings.
the
god,
Rings?
Lord of the Rings,
Oh.
Battle for Middle Earth 2, The Rise of the Witch King.
Oh, wait, can we get the acronym
So it's-
for that?
it's-
That's
it's-
even better
it's-
than our magazine acronym.
It's LOTR BFME2 ROTWK.
And you will read it
LOL.
first
LOL.
in GFWTOM.
OMG.
No mas.
We're going to take a break?
We are.
We're going to take a break,
Great.
and we'll
Think
be
about
back.
what we're excited. What reasons we have
More
to be
nonsense.
thankful this November
play-
for PC gaming.
Cue up the Jeopardy music. Someone.
We'll be back.
Tune in to Radio PM from the editors of the official U.S. PlayStation magazine. And trust me, people, we are so biased. Listen in every Thursday at radiopm.oneup.com or on iTunes.
And see, we're back.
Didn't even miss us.
It was like no time went by. Have we come up with anything more to talk about?
No.
Yeah.
You know what?
You're
We
the
can talk
news
about.
editor. That's why I'm looking to you. I got plenty.
Oh, you
I
have
could rattle
news.
off,
Yeah,
but they're all
Ryan.
next
We do have
year.
news and we have reader questions.
Yes.
Next March is like when PC gaming gets its November.
March.
My
Yeah.
book, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that
we've
when
had a
Crisis,
nice spate of
Quake
releases.
Wars.
Unfortunately, none of them really delivered, did they? We had Dark Messiah. We had Battlefield 2142.
Yeah.
I'm still going strong on Company Heroes, but the problem with that is like, when we talk about World of Warcraft and stuff, it's to the point where it's like now everyone knows that, we understand it's a great game, and I'll play it regularly every week.
Right.
But I need is Rainbow Six Vegas coming to the PC as well soon? I know
it is.
Yes, it is.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that too. And I have not been into Rainbow Six for a while, but that one looks good to me.
Yeah, it's looking pretty tight.
I can take this one brief moment to plug the first issue of Games for Windows, the official magazine, which will be on newsstands tomorrow as of today when I'm saying this. Tuesday, November 14th, is the official newsstand date for Games for Windows, the official magazine.
It's our own emergence day.
While supplies last.
And in that issue of the magazine, we actually talk about PC games and not console games.
We promise.
I need to take the time now and play Flight Sim. I've been meaning to do that.
Flight Sim 10.
Why do you need to do that?
You a flight stick?
Just because
Microsoft
I want to do it now. I'm interested in planes and everything, and I'm like, I need to sit down, and this sounds like it's accessible. It's got all the trainer modes. And
we
stuff.
We got to get your computer to work, but actually, that's actually a really good point, because he's like the flight jockey in Battlefield 2 and stuff, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but there's no guns in this game.
I know it's completely different, and if anyone's listening, they're like, oh, God, he thinks he can fly a plane in Battlefield. Good luck going from New York to Auckland in real time. But I don't care about that.
Yeah, you got guys sitting inside their home cockpits now making, scoffing at you.
That was the joke when Crispin from EGM came over, and he's really big into planes and stuff, to the point where he'll get amateur pilot magazines and stuff. And I was like, "Hey man, co-op. Let's do LA to LAX to Auckland in real time.
You can actually
you could be a co-pilot. You sleep, I'll take the controls.
You can be a co-pilot in Flight Sim.
Yeah, so you can both fly the same plane.
Seriously, what would you do?
Switch. Yeah, so go take a nap, take a dump, come back. We're 1,000 miles closer to the destination.
He also has the head tracking software.
That'd be a good divorce court thing.
Yeah,
or a your wife walks in and you and your buddy are sitting there. You both got on your headsets. Honey, there's 10 errands to do, and there's a whole bunch of garbage to clean up.
But your wife can look at
Hey, I'm co-pilot in here.
She could say, hey, don't commercial aviators make a lot of money? And say, like, hey, that kind of makes sense. As opposed to you and your freaking gnome cruising around beating on party-colored bears and stuff, making numbers appear above their head when you poke at them.
Oh, sure. Reduce it that way. It's a lot more complicated than that, mister.
But I got these great new gloves now as a result.
Yeah.
So ready for some news?
I think we're gonna go to Darren with the news.
Okay, so since on the console theme.
Oh dear.
Okay, no, actually, this is really quick.
At least made it second.
So people are kind of curious about the Xbox 360's HD DVD drive. Apparently, it'll work on a PC.
Awesome.
So what you do? So if you want to try, if you want to save some, if you want to get a cheap HD DVD player on your computer, you buy it for $200, and there's some. I mean, basically, it's going to require some drivers, and they found, and the people at uneasysilence.com found that if you download the drivers and you install WinDVD 8, which it happens to work with, you can watch HD DVD movies on your PC.
Uneasy Silence. It's named after the moment after I just crop dusted on this podcast.
Dude, it is so like earthy in here right now.
What PC games we were playing.
Okay, so wait, it goes into a drive bay for part of my stupidity. What is it?
No, actually, the way the 360's HD DVD drive is, it's basically like an external peripheral you plug into through a USB port.
Oh wow!
Internally inside the box, it's really just it's a Toshiba OEM'd HD DVD drive. So it has the drivers are available, and you just have to plug it in through USB. So I mean, there might be some stuttering if you have a low end PC, but it works.
What's availability like on HD DVD right now in terms of content for it?
You mean besides RV or something?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the Turf War is now beginning. So it's like you're going to see like Mission Impossible 3 and. I don't have the full list. Actually, I think it's either Extreme Tech or Digital Life. They actually have a proper list of some of the movies that are out. I'd have to check that. But although I actually had a conversation recently with somebody, and who's going to win the war between Blu-ray and HD DVD? It all depends on where porn's going to go.
I was going to ask Ryan needs to know when his anime porn is going to be
exactly.
on HD TV.
Because you really
feels so awkward.
Yeah, because you really need to see that crisp beauty there.
Yes, I do.
Isn't that always what drives the video format?
Technology?
No, technology, seriously, since VHS.
Yep.
VHS, DVD, the internet. the first successful commercial ventures are
Yeah,
porn.
there used to be porn movie theaters, right?
Yeah.
Before everyone figured out they could do it at home.
True.
That's right. I sure miss those
Amen.
days.
For real.
For
Paul
real.
Rubens
For
misses
real.
those days.
All right, so next bit of news.
Maybe
Actually,
you do.
Ryan, you were pretty excited about this bit of news. So EVE Online developer CCP Games is merging with White Wolf.
That's
So-
very exciting.
Ooh.
And
yeah.
they're making an MMO game, White Wolf's World of Darkness.
Oh,
World of Dark.
Huh.
Yeah.
So wait, they merged?
They actually merged.
Wow.
So
What do they have a new name?
I think they're operating under.
they're operating under their own names for now because they both have like recognized
Okay.
franchises. But
I think like
so for those,
White Wolf became the CCP subsidiary, so like CCP is the owner.
I'm not quite sure how it works. But so
Right.
anyway, for those who don't know, White Wolf are the guys who do the Vampire the Masquerade game,
Right.
and they also do
Werewolf.
and all this other stuff. So
Good stuff.
good stuff. Inspiration for LARPers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Ryan, take it away. You know more about the. You know anything about
Well, I
this world?
Pretty
of-
much know exactly what you do about the news. I mean, they're making a World of Darkness MMO. These are the guys who made EVE Online, and I guess they're making an EVE Online role playing game, like a tabletop role playing game, which makes
Which
a little
plays
less
itself.
Right,
sense.
right, right.
Right. You
That's-
just set up the
Right.
That's the other
board,
half. That's the other half of the
and
equation.
then you go have dinner.
And it plays without you. You flip some cards at the table and like walk away.
Ryan, what kind of vampire were you when you played vampire with your friends?
Were you
I
Bruja?
have never actually played a White Wolf game.
Damn it! I thought I was going to catch him.
No.
Ah, man. You so,
I
you
would-
Anybody here?
You so
Sean?
fit the
Malloy?
profile.
I've never played.
No.
No.
I played
I
a
have-
session of Werewolf once at Dreamcatcher Interactive. Dreamcatcher? Wait, who are the
Wait.
guys who made Sanitarium?
Yeah,
that-
Dreamcatcher. yeah.
Dreamcatcher. They
Oh, didn't you
they
have an
had
awesome story about this?
they had the license to the Werewolf game.
To the Universal Werewolf? Universal Studios Werewolf?
Yeah.
No, not that werewolf. Not the Lon Chaney
Abbott and
werewolf.
Costello versus the werewolf.
And they were going to make a werewolf game, so I went to Dreamcatcher somewhere back east, and we played a game of werewolf, and it was fun.
What were you?
Didn't you have an awesome? I totally forget this, but I could have swore you had some kind of crazy story about one of the guys working on the game. Or am I? Like,
Yeah, we
hallucinating?
played in the nude. That's the story.
That's
No,
very-
I don't know what you-
transform.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind. It'll come, in a very Costanza moment. It'll come to me like 3 hours
Are
later.
you talking about the infamous White Wolf incident?
Well,
I don't think we could talk about.
Okay,
on the
fine.
air.
If you want to know, I am us or private messages.
Yeah.
So were you a lycanthrope?
Yes, I was. It was fun too.
That was it. That was
The key to all these games, of course, is you have to have a good dungeon master, as we all know.
Mercy on
As
the
I
in-
was a
all
really good
know.
storyteller,
as in
clearly.
life.
as in life.
So what did you do during your game?
I was a werewolf. I scratched myself. I
Did you eat
Yeah.
some
Fleas.
people?
ate people. Yeah, I checked myself for fleas.
Did you get a lot of experience points?
I did. I leveled up, dude.
Got a
Nice.
rabies shot.
All right, Jeff, there's a Victorian
All right.
Grand Dam on the avenue, and you can smell their blood in the air. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it was that kind of thing.
I'm gonna rip her head off.
Okay.
Speech needs to be more
Okay.
clear than that.
So, all right, what else in the news?
There's slow news bits, but I'll kind of just rattle through these really quick. So in our very special Tech Nerd Corner. So big news last week was NVIDIA announced the first DirectX 10 compatible cards.
Yay.
Yay! So actually, here's one cool part. Despite the fact they're $600 a piece, the GeForce 8800
Ouchie.
cards. So one of these cards is as powerful as two 7900 GTXs in SLI.
Dude, a $600 video card?
Exactly. But you think about it. A year ago,
It's our
people
PlayStation 3.
Yeah, no kidding.
a year ago, people were being asked to buy two graphics cards for this level of performance. So technically,
Right.
it's an improvement, but
That's
it's also,
a lot of money.
It's asking a lot of money. There is a GTS version of this 8800 board, and it's going to cost $450, I think, approximately. It'll still be pretty good. It'll still be a good performer, and it'll be DirectX 10 ready. I'd say give it a few months. There's obviously going to be more stuff coming down the road, more
Right.
DirectX cards in the way, but it's still kind of interesting to see performance values, how much it costs, that sort of
Yeah, I don't know. You could buy a whole PS3.
thing. Yeah, if you can
Or-
find one.
Well, if you could find one.
Yeah,
and
but-
if there was anything good to play on
Did
it.
I send you guys the
This
link about
time-
how? Did I send you guys a link? Apparently on eBay, some dumbass bought a PS3 for $9,100.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, well, that's Darwinism
All
right
right.
there.
Okay, other bits of news. ATI users download the latest Catalyst drivers because there were some problems with WoW graphics, so they're fixed now. What else? Oh, here's one from newscientisttech.com. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but apparently this guy has invented a throwable controller.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we could all use that. You mean when?
Yeah.
You mean for when you get mad?
No, but although that would be even better. Okay, so I'm just going to read this as quoted from New Tech. Okay, so New Scientist Tech. A new breed of throwable game controllers could turn computer gaming into a healthy pastime. Tossable peripherals.
Yeah, break.
Each controller resembles a throwable object like a ball, football, frisbee. They also connect via Wi-Fi, and each contains an accelerometer capable of detecting speed and impact, altitude, a timer, and a GPS receiver, so you can find it afterwards.
What, for what?
Receiver.
I don't know. I mean,
Why would you? I mean,
obviously, you'd have to be outside, away from your computer to actually use
what?
it. So
There's like a game where you would like throw your controller. What, like a baseball?
I don't know. I mean,
That's like the stupidest thing.
Closest I can think of is like
like
Dave
a Wii
Buster's,
game.
where they've got the pitching games, or like if there's like a
And then you
soccer
got to go
ball
run
connected
after
to
the
a
damn
rope.
thing.
Exactly.
No, it's
Wait,
obviously going to be connected to a rope or an elastic.
So then you get to sock yourself in the head
gotta
after
be.
throwing the
Yeah.
thing. That's great.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
AFB
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see
Okay.
an application of that. That's not just
Yeah.
throwing a football because
Call me skeptical on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Nintendo invented that technology over a decade ago, but decided not to pursue it.
However, has everybody in here thrown their controller in anger?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well,
That's since I
Darren,
was
I know
little.
for sure.
I haven't done that in my recollection.
You know what? That reminds me, we need to post a video of that angry German kid.
Oh, that is awesome. We have to post it. I threw my Xbox 360 controller this weekend.
You threw your game.
Yeah.
Well, which
And
game-
then I threw the game.
Which
That
game was
one.
this?
That's what got me.
I did
because
both.
that requires like getting up, opening up
Yeah.
your
Very
Xbox 360,
premeditated.
Yeah, it
taking
was
out the
premed-
disc, and then throwing.
That
it.
was,
like,
you know
was it-
why I did that? It's because I threw the controller first, and then like the battery thing came open, and the batteries went flying out, and then the thing came up. Please reconnect your Xbox 360 Connect. I was like,
What
shit, I'm
game?
gonna
Is this
break the thing.
Test drive?
No, Dead Rising.
Really? Oh,
So
that's
then
right, that's right. Okay.
after I fixed the controller and I felt a little sheepish about losing my temper and throwing the controller, then I got mad again. And I didn't want to throw the controller again, so I just took it out on the game. So I had to hit the eject button on the game, and then I took it and I
Wow.
tossed the disc.
Oh,
Got out of
oh, wow.
Got out a pen and then scratch screw you into the.
Then I actually turned the controller off and took my dog for a walk. Time to
That's
walk
just-
away, not having fun anymore.
Yeah, I remember I was.
a sustained level of anger.
I remember I had this huge amount of like rage once, and I think it was because it was a game I was reviewing, Midnight Club, and
Yeah.
I was so pissed off. I remember I was playing with a steering wheel controller, and I was like, I kept losing. And I'm like, fuck! And finally, I ripped the steering column out, and so I'm like, oh shit! And I put it right back in, and it kept working. and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh fuck it! And I actually committed to breaking the thing. I said, I'm gonna break this mofo. I actually just like. I picked it up and just like started raging. I totally
What?
the German ain't got nothing on me.
There's something
There's
just
drugs
wrong.
for this.
There's something wrong with that when you're
Yeah.
doing that. I mean, I felt like an utter moron. It was a Sunday afternoon. The sun was out,
Getting ready.
and I'm like yelling at my 360
A zombie
and
game.
throwing the controller. You know,
Bad.
it's time to stop gaming.
No
when
one's
you're-
making
when
you
you're
play
doing
that game.
I know.
Yeah.
I was doing it for fun, quote unquote. I was
Yeah.
taking a break from
Did
my
you ever
writing.
like playing Sorry or something with your kid? Just like lift up the board and throw all the pieces in
when I was a kid.
with your
No,
kid.
No. Oh my God, no.
Just did that last weekend.
Yeah, fine, you win.
I'll give you
Yeah, that's a
something to
good-
be sorry about.
That's a great lesson to teach the kid. Yeah. Oh, sure, you win, bitch.
You're grounded.
You're ready for Xbox Live, then they'll make you break stuff. Because when those kids are yelling at you, not only are you losing, they're kicking your ass, and they'll be roving it into you.
And the worst part is, if you have the camera, then you get to see them make fun of you, and like on top of everything else.
The stupid thing is, too,
Yeah,
you
why
really
would they?
just...
Why would they have the camera? Because as it is,
Yeah,
the Xbox
Yeah.
Live headset is the dumbest thing you could put up to your head this side of a shotgun barrel. So why do you want video?
There's
of
some
that?
good ad
Yeah.
copy there.
Why do you
No.
want video to go along with that?
no
You know,
good
I was
going to
ask you that
thing.
when you were talking about Gears of War and listening to the people trash talk you. I don't have to wear that thing.
No, you
right?
don't.
So,
No.
so
You can shut 'em out.
So people could be like dissing me or whatever, and I just don't have to hear it.
The problem is if you're, the people on the other team can only talk to you in between maps or during loading and stuff.
Okay.
So you don't want to. If you take it off altogether, you're at a significant disadvantage.
Oh, you
'cause
can't talk to your
You
team.
can't talk to your teammates,
But
and the game is
okay.
just massively about working together
Okay.
with your team. So it's kind of a disadvantage, and I'm sure you could probably. I haven't figured it out, but I'm hoping you can go and mute people.
See, I don't know if I want to play even with teammates like with the headset while my wife and kid are awake. I just
Right.
feel it's
That's
too
weird.
pathetic.
And the thing that's
I'm
different for
hiding
me,
over there, and my wife's just going to keep going. Like, who are you talking to?
Well, if you crank up the volume
And then,
enough,
like,
you don't have to like.
and on the
worry about,
PC
like,
side of
yelling.
things, like if it's TeamSpeak, you can make it so you press a button to talk, and that way, like every like cough and sputter that you've got doesn't like go through to everyone, you know. So it's like you just press the button when you want to say, "Hey, let's do this."
Okay.
And then it's also really easy to mute other people if you don't like hearing them. And in general, people will talk now and then, but like not the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on Xbox, it's like a constant flow of just, maybe it's because it's a sign I'm getting older too. I was like, man, I feel old because it's like, when you get to the age and you're like, what's the last like person you want to hang out with on Earth? And it's like someone between like 14 and 18 years old.
Well, I think it's. I think it's
Not
like,
that we don't love them all. You guys are listening now.
I think
you,
it's-
you guys are great. And
Well, not all,
thanks
yeah.
for reading and
But
listening.
how about this?
We just don't wanna
There's
play
one-
games with you.
The 14 to 18-year-old that sounds like the freaking red-haired kid on A Christmas Story when he's laughing. You know that piece of
Oh,
shit? Like that. And as much as you like listening to that, that's the kid. So no, I don't want to discriminate by age across everyone. But if you're that kid, then screw you.
you could be 30 and be that jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
God,
But I
man.
think the odds are significantly less that you will be 30 and be that jackass. I
Yeah.
hope.
So it's just playing the odds, basically.
Hopefully.
All right, questions?
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of reader questions, and we're going to read some of them, aren't we?
We are.
Hit 'em.
We are.
Ryan,
have
are
a-
you fielding that one?
I have a whole bunch of questions from Bowley.
Ryan's Corner.
A lot of it. It's
Ask Ryan. So we need a little theme song for Ask Ryan.
a lot of it's feedback from
Why does it
the
burn?
first issue.
Okay.
Why does it burn?
All right. Okay.
He asks.
This is
what-
Bowley?
Yeah.
This is our fan Bowley.
What up,
The
Bowley?
message board.
He's pretty much like our mascot.
He sent us postcards of his vacation to what was it, Cincinnati or something last week.
Magically whisked
Every
away.
week he sends us like just random postcards from wherever he's at the moment.
Bowley?
I'm just playing. If you've ever seen
was about to
Trekkies,
say.
you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, don't diss Bowley. We like Bowley.
We like
or is it Bowley?
I was about to ask to see the
Bowley?
postcards.
I don't know. Anyway, Ryan, what does he ask?
He wants to thank us for the giant ad glued to the cover.
You're welcome.
And
We made it
I
ourselves.
missed that. I haven't seen that.
Nah, the subscribers got one of those frickin' ads stuck to the front of the magazine so they can't see the actual
that's-
You know,
cover.
I really hate how companies do that now. It's like selling. It's like they couldn't get the cover of the magazine through edit, so now they have to.
Don't diss the advertisers.
All right.
We love them.
I love you guys. Sorry.
And Bowley
It's
asked.
good when it has that gummy glue that just rolls off. you
Yeah,
know, when you
That's
roll
true.
your
That's
eyes.
true.
Actually, I think he thanked us. He was being sort of half facetious because the fake cover saved the actual cover from getting ruined in the rain.
Yeah.
So
Wah, wah.
I lost my voice from doing the Christmas Story Kid. There you go.
You're done for the day.
Bowley also asked, was the Dragon Age dragon breathing fire on the cover a subtle nod to the cover of the first issue of CGW?
in fact, good call, Bowley. It was, in fact, an homage to the first cover. I mean, we had that dragon image anyway as one of the possible choices for the first cover, but we did think that it was cool and serendipitous that it actually matched the cover of the very first CGW. So we did think about that. Yes.
It seemed like a good way to start over.
Certainly wasn't the sole deciding factor by any.
It was not the sole
It came
factor,
into our
but it,
reckoning.
yeah.
All right, and here's a little bit more involved question, also from Bowley. I was reading Gladstone a month or two back, where Darren lays down some guidelines for misbehaved PR people.
Oh, shit.
Wow, where do we go with this one, guys?
I want specifics now. I want to hear, without naming names, the worst PR stories you guys have. I want the stories that you scare your kids with around the campfire. The stories that make you want to cancel your membership to the human race. The stories that can make a grown man cry.
I'd say that.
Yeah, we all have them.
Man, there's so many
Yeah.
crazy ones. You know what? Without mentioning like the names of the PR people or the actual games themselves, it's kind of hard. But I'd say like my favorite is the story of Scooter on the flight down to LA.
To me, I agree. That's probably the worst one. We have to just do this without names because this is all past history. But right, Scooter, Terry Nguyen, who now works at Official PlayStation Magazine, we had sent him down to a city to do a cover story on a game. This was our going to be our exclusive preview of this game. We had worked it out with the company that we were going to do the exclusive preview. And the very day that Scooter had gotten on the plane and flown somewhere to see this game, Robert Coffey, another former CGW editor, walked in that very morning with a copy of our main competitor's new issue that he had just bought off the newsstand. And on their cover was that very game that Scooter was going to see for our exclusive first look.
Wow.
So we saw this, and I had to send out a big WTF email to the PR person, like, are you kidding me? We have a guy going there right now for the first look at the game that's now on our competitor's cover.
My favorite, though, is you left a message for Scooter as he's in transit.
Right, he was in transit, so I called his cell phone while he was on the plane and told him to just, as soon as he heard this message, get back on the frickin' plane and come home. You're not to visit that company or see that game.
Yeah, you were
Screw them.
Yeah, you were like, if you can't come back right away, go to Disney World, do whatever you want, but you are not.
Not that the company was anywhere near Disney World.
Or the
Disneyland.
Mirage,
that was it.
what is it? Sandusky, Cedar Point, or
Canada's Wonderland,
or wherever it was.
Busch Gardens.
So in fact,
Let's do
that's
those.
what he did. He heard the message and he flew right back. And we got into a big pissing match with the company over the definition of what a first look is. So, but
Really?
yeah,
That was a fun one.
Not in their mind, they meant first hands-on. So they didn't think we would mind that.
It
The
seems
other
like,
magazines.
It seems like most of these screwovers happen around cover stories. I mean, like there was one where I had flown internationally, and we were just nailing down the last bits of the cover story. I'd already written it. We kind of like we're beyond that point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
And same kind of deal. Main competitor, they had given basically all the information that we had,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I'd gone on this whole journey across, halfway across the world to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Far more offensive to me is the issue of access to developers. Whereas, I mean, like the exclusive thing is like a traditional part of the scenario. But in terms when a PR person is basically the sole and then only, the official and the basically the only real connect that you have, to the people in the development team, and when they constantly set the conditions under which you can speak with them, whether or not you can. Often it's, they're not speaking to anyone, even in cases where it turns out in other scenarios that the person wants to talk to you. But it's just troubling for me because, I mean, part of the thing we fight for is to do something other than just de facto advertising. And it's always in, PR's interest to have, a story on their game say exactly, what they want it to and to read like an advertisement. But when you want to go out of that, and when you do approach some, and this is, I don't want to paint with too broad a brush because so many PR people are wonderful and they completely get it.
A lot of them totally get
out
it.
of their way, and in ways that they probably have to explain to their superiors, like why I'm taking my time to do this. But when we want to have stories that aren't just based on, hey, here's this game, eventually one day you're going to want to go buy it, but like let's look at like, what's going on in gaming and this and that. But it can be a real pain in the ass when someone doesn't see anything other than, is it a preview? Is it a review? Well, then I don't understand what you're talking about. You can't talk to someone. And then other things, which I don't want to get into too much because we don't want to talk about it, but it's when PR people want to talk to you about scores in a way that's just
it crosses the line
that they're entitled to tell you.
My mind just turns off as soon as they do that. The thing about the access, I totally agree with you, but it makes me wonder, and not to defend them, but I'm sure it must be the same like in every entertainment industry, right? If you want to interview an actor or a director or something, there's probably a PR person standing by making sure you don't ask anything that...
Right. But you know what? It's like, it's cool if they were to stand by and say, oh, no, you can't ask that question. But if they're actually holding up the entire interview process because they won't grant you access to that person.
The thing that Sean is alluding to, I think, which was definitely frustrating, was when we had questions for some developers that actually didn't even have to do with any specific game. We just wanted to ask some general philosophical game questions. And we were getting I'm sorry, they can't, we're not talking about that right now. It's like, you're not even listening to what we're saying, we're asking.
And
that's exactly, I totally agree.
And other times, the other people, they'll want to screen any questions you're going to ask the person in advance, like, Darren alluded to, and, they want to make sure that, it's in a way that's not just a matter of the person being ready, so when they do talk about it, they can offer you more insightful and thorough responses, but more just a matter of them making sure you're not going to go into any territory that's not immediately advantageous to their bottom line.
The thing that's crazy too is, I mean, this is not international politics.
Yeah, it's
we're not uncovering CIA scandals. It's frickin' games.
Yeah.
The level of secrecy is a bit ludicrous. We just want some questions about your stupid game. It's not that important. It's not that important in the grand scheme.
Or
of
we
things.
want questions
screw
that
you.
aren't about your game, that are about someone as a person, what they're doing, what's on their mind, how they understand their career and this and that.
Right, and also it's just to bring up one quick point. I think we kind of brought this up a couple podcasts ago. Was how I think another part of this whole larger PR issue is it's not even the PR people's fault. It's sometimes like PR and marketing are getting confused, and like their marketing department is like kind of, I wouldn't say laying down dictates, but definitely operating under this assumption that we are their marketing department as well.
Oh, definitely.
And that's probably the biggest problem is that
yeah.
they act as though, we wanted you to talk about this, this, and this.
Right. Well, we recently had the example. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast, where a game company was having an event, a scheduled event that they set up for their game because they were ready at this point to give coverage to it. And so they invited all of the media down, the gaming media, to see this game, and we declined.
And said, "Come get your preview."
They were like, "Hey, boys, we're ready for coverage now. So everybody come visit us and write up your previews."
Right.
And we balked, and it wasn't to be holier than thou or just whatever, But we didn't do it because
it's just a matter of usefulness. So,
right.
Every other website's going to have the same information.
That same story, not only it's going to be on every website, and then 3 weeks later, it will be in every magazine, and it's going to read, almost identical in every instance because it's going to be a matter of here's where we were, here's what they showed us first, here's what we tried next.
Which is exactly what they want. I mean, they just decided they were ready for coverage.
Very carefully controlled
and we basically said, you know what? Just because you're ready for us to write about your game doesn't mean we're ready.
It's actually
we're not part of your PR campaign.
It's like buying an advertisement, but that's going to run in every single publication and online.
It's a brilliant strategy.
And in addition, and furthermore, then instead of just an advertisement, it's backed by editorial voice.
That's right.
Right.
In which case, it's people are going to drop their guard.
It's free ads for them.
when they approach an advertisement.
Yeah. So if they set that up and everybody goes, more power to them.
That's in there. That's perfectly in their interest to do so.
Right.
But the thing is
but we don't have to play
along.
along.
In our interest to go say we've got those pages we can give to something that we don't think is going to appear everywhere, or that we're going to have a different kind of access to it. And then at least we're doing some service to our readers by offering them something.
They can read that story in every other place, like you said. But what bothered me was a little bit of the attitude we got back from them, which was like, "Oh, so you guys are too good for this."
Yeah, and that wasn't the case at all.
No.
And we even told them, we said we'd love to see some other aspects of this game, or in a context where it's not us in a room with 1,000 other people, where every question that we ask, and we have to share the response with everyone else, and
that's not
so
news.
On and so forth.
Yeah, that's something I always like at these kind of junket things. That's one thing that always kind of annoyed me is like having a demo with like 5 other people, and like my question, like if I had to ask a question, that's the same answer.
Right, your question is everyone's question.
Right. So I mean, I would go out of my way to like wait till the conference was over, or the announcement, whatever was going on. I'd walk up to the developer and just basically ambush him with my own questions.
Yeah, I just sort of in general really resent this. Like, we're ready for coverage now. Come to our event, and then they get mad when we don't go.
Right.
It's like, you know what? We actually decide what's going to go in the magazine.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I do
then you
occasionally
have a
get
bunch
email.
of pubs that do play along.
Well, that's why these
That's
things
why it's
happen.
so acceptable, is because they're
problem.
Because they just
almost
kind of-
everyone
yeah.
plays along. And it's
I-
just been sort of the status quo for so long.
Because-
That's why
it's laziness, really.
The PR
'cause-
person in question
Yeah.
was taken aback because, I mean, that's why they almost understandably read it as some kind of weird thing on our part, because they just had never encountered that before, or at least we were led to believe by the way that the person
Well, even after I
responded.
thought that the incident was over, like a couple days later, I got a comment like, oh, well, since you guys are too good for this now, sort of thing. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
That wasn't what it was about.
yeah.
So we want to cover your game. I don't want to do, your scheduled PR plan for you. Sorry. That's your agenda is not my agenda.
Yeah. More and more in the future, depending on how things go. I mean, there will come a time, I think, when we'll all have to air the dirty laundry of like how some PR people want to know too much about scoring and are too forceful in suggesting that things be changed to different things and stuff like that.
Well,
I won't get into it now, but I swear, though, at some point, if it continues, it will be just a matter of, I mean, that's just bad practice, and we've got to talk about it.
Do I have to complain about the money I've taken? It's
now.
$50 a star.
Yeah.
A lot of my
We should up
PR
those
nightmares.
rates. Pretty crappy.
Yeah, those are old rates.
A lot of
Yeah.
my PR nightmares come from scores, talking about
Yeah.
scores. I've had
Yeah.
CEOs of companies
You're making lots of
email
friends.
me to complain that our low score is dragging down the game rankings average.
Yeah, that's what it's always
like-
about, right?
Right.
It's always about how we are versus Metacritic
like,
or
well,
game rankings.
We don't
Well,
actually take game rankings into consideration.
To which I say, fuck game rankings and fuck Metacritic. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think agreed all around here.
Yeah.
It's like,
And again, a lot of publishers and a lot of PR people like post a release, Ryan, they'll come to you and they want to talk to you, but it's in a really like terms that I'm happy with. And I'll name names in this case where like before after reviewing a few EA games, they've come over and they wanted to talk, and it was clear they brought the developers. The PR person steps away and they just let me say it. They don't challenge what I'm saying. They say, but you're wrong because what about this? Or they're not grilling me to try to see how well I know it, or if they can catch me in an error someplace. They just sit there and take notes. And
Yeah,
they're
you know
like,
what?
that's
cool.
different.
You know that's
Cool, that
that's
sounds
totally
good.
cool. And
Yeah.
that's a much more collaborative experience because like you can actually give proper feedback and say, okay, here's what you can do for next time to do better.
Well, that's a lot
Right.
different.
And I
And
prefer
it's
that.
actually
Right.
point. There's a point to it.
Yeah.
And then the other times they'll come and it's quick. It's clear right off the bat. They're going to give you the third degree, and they're trying to like trip you up. They just want to argue with you, tell
Right.
you you were
Yeah.
wrong. You know what? You're wrong. And when the person telling you you're wrong is someone who hasn't even played the game, if it's a PR person that hasn't even played the game themselves, they
Yeah.
could go to hell. Straight up, just go to hell.
But actually, I was gonna say like in EA's case, 'cause, I'm not. Should we mention the name of the game or? Does it
Yeah,
matter?
I mean, I've done it. I did it
There
for Medal
was-
of Honor: Rising Sun on
well, it was
console, and-
for 2142 in particular because I remember at the
and I did talk to them for that. Yeah.
right because I remember like at their EA showcase over this past summer before 2142 came out, we had a play test demo of it, and their PR guy pulled me aside, and you know what? He's a totally cool guy, and he totally gets it. Like we sat there and like he asked me what I thought of it, and I broke down some of the issues I had with the game and what I thought could be done to make it better. And they totally took it as it was intended, like constructive criticism. And I think that was the same case with when the game
In
finally
fact,
came out.
the developers themselves, though of course many of them get very angry because this is their babies and
Yeah,
they've been
no one
working
wants
on
to-
it for a long
No
time.
one wants to get a bad score.
A lot of them do understand, I think, a lot better actually than the PR and marketing people. And in fact, again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I don't even know if you can really blame the PR people. It goes higher than that. It's like the pressure from above, to do well because of game rankings, because of sales. Right.
Yeah. Totally.
Companies can do things to incentivize foul play, though, by like offering bonuses to PR people based on the scores that the games that they handle get and this and that. And that goes
that's
beyond. And that's, again,
Yeah.
from above. That's a call from above that
Right.
is setting a
Like
really
gross.
bad precedent because you take, as we discussed on our podcast a few times before, someone who has no control over quality of a game and
It's
saying that and pinning sort of
some-
financial profit on the ending quality.
the
of
fact
the game,
that actually even exists boggles my mind. That
Yeah,
someone would
it's-
actually think that they could influence a score through good PR means they completely don't get it.
I mean, maybe it works for some other magazines, but it definitely doesn't.
Yeah, it
work
also
for
makes me
us.
think like it must
Well,
be working
okay.
on somebody.
I
out
remember
there.
we got an
which is
email
also
from a
sad and
developer
scary.
one time. We actually published it in the magazine.
Oh,
That
yeah.
he had emailed me saying how he was very upset that our reviewer had given this game such a low score, and he wanted to make it up to me, and he had this other game coming out that they felt was a really strong 8 or 9, and maybe
Yeah,
we
yeah.
could work
Yep.
together and get an exclusive on this other game they had coming out later. And
But wasn't that if we could re-review the
If we could
first
and he
re-review it,
wanted
yeah.
us to re-review, yeah.
You know what?
Wow.
Ah.
You mean if we
Like,
re-reviewed it and gave it a higher score, we were going to get this exclusive on his next game?
On his next
Right.
8 or 9.
And he was also he had like
Not his
this budget game that he was like, oh, we have this new product coming out that we think is a really strong 8 or 9. We're hoping you can look at it. Like,
And
you know,
that's a game
conditioning
that,
me.
like, for the record, is still not out. And you got this email, like, 8 months ago.
something like that.
And so
yeah.
that's how long ago he knew that his next 8 or 9 game
Yeah.
was coming out.
No, but yeah. Actually, I do remember one story from Consoleville about no magazine names or publishers being mentioned, but it was a major magazine, major game publisher, and they said, "We'll give you the exclusive on this if you promise
Exclusive review.
exclusive
Yeah.
review on this if you promise to give it this level of score."
Right. There's
That-
a lot of stories
Yeah,
like that in
there
the
are plenty of
console
stories
That
about
happens a
console
lot.
world.
Yeah, that's a common one.
I don't think that happens on our
And
end.
it's attached to with the review cover. It's just like even,
And that's why I'm glad we're not doing review covers anymore.
who knows if it's happened or not. I mean, we have no idea if anyone's ever taken them up on it, but we do know for a fact that those offers have been made.
Yeah.
in the past.
I would say every time we've tried to do a review cover, it's been a disaster.
Oh, it's kind of funny. The only I was just thinking about it. Like the few times we actually have done review covers, there like, 2 of them turned into previews because their games weren't ready.
Right.
We gave 2 3.5 stars.
Yep.
Scored,
2 of them got like mediocre reviews.
mediocre reviews, and one got it was the Sims review was the only one that was a good score.
Mm-hmm. The
Sims
Sims
2.
1.
No, it was
Sims
Sims 2. Sims
Okay.
2.
The funny thing about scores, while we're talking about it, everybody contends that low scores equal marketplace failure.
Right.
And
Whereas,
it's completely untrue.
one would assume that the reverse is true, that high scores equal marketplace success, which is clearly not the case.
Right.
You look at games like Psychonauts.
So, yeah,
or
it's
Beyond
a total
Good and
perfect
Evil.
example.
Okami on the PS2.
Right.
Yeah.
Okami
So,
got rave reviews,
It's
and that
vomit.
tanked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so like you can't really that argument's
Yeah.
You think it's sadly? I think it's more like whichever one has the best marketing.
yeah.
That's kind of what it sounds like almost. Whoever gets the best buzz before launch and the best marketing at launch.
So what we're saying is we actually influence game sales a lot less than people think.
Yeah.
Right.
So stop worrying about the scores.
Don't worry
And
about
not
us.
even just us, but like all people
Oh,
that
yeah.
are doing reviews combined.
We're just
Right.
we're just a lot of white noise basically.
It is a lot of white noise. It's strictly for this insular crowd of hardcore gamers to get some pre-release opinions or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't. We have
That's
no
why
effect.
there's something to be said for taking, we were talking at lunch, the approach, there's 2 approaches with reviews, and one is consumer report, and that's what I think the majority of reviews are, and then an actual critique. The consumer report is skewed toward, what a lot of people want, based on demand. A lot of people just want to know, should I buy it for these reasons, and how does it hold up in these sectors and whatnot?
It's a very clinical ticking off of like it has
Right.
this and
Right.
this.
You want an actual, a more developed critique of it, in the way that you get with, in other, where people have been writing about other formats for a much longer time,
Right.
like music and movies.
Like in a movie review. They're not going, the directing is this. And
Right.
Yeah.
In the
CHX sound is
in the
this.
third scene, the special effects are crap, but
Yeah.
the cinematography is spot on.
But the guy delivers this line so well that it's okay that, or like the analogy earlier for Rolling Stone was, the oboe is about a 3.5, at about 3.4 seconds on the track 3, but then, the trumpet comes in, just kills it. The trumpet kills it, so I'm going to raise it up to about a 7. What?
Yeah. We
Shut
should
up.
do some CD reviews, like game reviews, and see
Yeah.
what happens.
All you'd have to do, or a movie or a television show or anything, and it would
We should
really
do it in the
hold
magazine.
it.
That'd be kind of
in-
funny.
Yeah.
And how arbitrary it is too when you've got the mandatory audio, when you got the audio score and then the paragraph about the audio and stuff.
Yeah.
Like imagine there's like just a paragraph about